Welcome back to another mini Roll for Crit podcast from Gen Con 2014. Now, it looks like you have something dangerous in your hands there, Jonathan.
I really shouldn't even have this. This is a highly toxic substance. No, wait, we're just kidding. It's not. This is Pandemic Contagion, the new version of Pandemic coming from Z-Man Games. It actually comes out of this.
Now, you got a chance to play it, and I actually watched you, so I pretty much know most of the things there.
Yeah, it's not too hard to understand. So basically, so this is, for the overview, the opposite of Pandemic, if you've played that, in which you are a co-op group of characters trying to save the world from disease. In this game, you are the disease.
The disease is sentient.
That was terrifying.
I know.
And in fact, you are working against each other, trying to get the most points, and the game sort of represents the actions that the players would normally take in the game Pandemic. So it really is. It feels like you are on the other side of the spectrum.
Now, I got to start off with my favorite thing right off the bat: Petri dishes.
Yes.
This is what holds your little cubes, your germs, I guess. In these little things and it fits into a little board which shows like your stats for your disease, like how resilient it is. I think one was how much you can draw, but I don't know what the word they used. There's.
Show one. So each player.
Well, why don't you pop it out and show how these go in? These go. Well, they would be flat, but they would go in there.
Yeah, your cubes would be in here, and you start at the base level for these three stats. One is how many cards you can draw, how many cubes you get to infect the city with, or how resistant you are to certain cards. Basically, you can use that as a shield against bad effects.
Yeah, but they have, of course, really cool names for them because they actually have resistance, infection, and incubation. So really awesome, sticking with the theme.
Makes it sound a lot cooler than just drawing.
Yes. And you can do certain actions on your turn that list on that sheet as well, right?
Yes, you can do two actions. You can do two actions, choosing out of three. One is to draw. The other one is to actually upgrade these abilities we just mentioned. Or you can, of course, infect a city. So on the field, there are 9. I think it's 9. Might be
there
wrong.
Were 9 when I was 9.
There, yes. Yeah, 9 cities. And it actually... One game it actually reminded me of a little bit in a weird way was Smash Up.
Actually, I was about to say that. From what I can tell, the cities work the same way as bases as Smash Up. You guys put your diseases there, and when you guys hit critical mass, I think.
So each city has a number in the top right. So if it's 10, once there are 10 cubes of any player's color, that scores that city.
Yes, and whoever has the most gets the top score.
Whoever has the second most. However, it is a little different in this one because whoever put their cubes down first on the card always has advantage. So if another player only ties them, first player still wins the card.
So the first disease there goes first.
So it's often a good idea, well, at least it seemed like from my one playthrough, to instead of like doubling down on one city, to try and just plant your virus in as many places as possible.
Well, from what I saw, because I had to leave near the end because I had to run and do something, one card which would have helped you a lot with that strategy, that came late though, was one card that let you, at the end of your turn, you draw for each city you're infecting. Now, if you were spreading your diseases really fast like that, you would have had a huge hand, and that would have probably given you that really nice boost.
Right. So, so at the end of each round, you draw a card that has some event that affects all players, and that was one of them. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, and that's where the resistance comes in.
I remember because I think I came over right when you're near the start, and the first card, I think it was the first card, was like new school year starting.
Oh, right.
And I was just like, that alone just made me like, oh, this is great.
One was a bird was carrying your virus, so you could move one of your cubes to any other place. Yeah, the way they timed the theme was really neat. But I had a lot of fun playing it. It's very simple to learn. Even simpler than Pandemic. I don't know if there was anything in the version I played. I think it was the full game. I think there may be difficulty levels or something. One thing I was surprised, I think the box says 2 to 5 players, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was a solo variant. It doesn't seem like it would be hard to incorporate. But it was very, very fun as it was, and though it definitely retained the feeling of Pandemic of always being like, if only I could do a couple more actions, and if I could draw one more card, because you have to make, since you only have 2 actions per turn, the tough decision of, do I get more cards or do I upgrade something so in the future I can have more cards?
That is always the case in every game.
Right. So it has that tension that's a lot of fun and makes you make those kinds of decisions. I went up and bought it immediately after playing it. I really liked it, and from what you saw, it looked cool.
Oh yeah, well, I think it's really fun. Especially, I think this works really well for anyone who's in any kind of science background. I can think of plenty of people who would love this, because I know Pandemic has it's the same sort of theme-ish, but the fact that you're playing with the disease in the still petri dishes, you could probably think of more funny ways of relating to. Oh, that's that disease because it spread it through a bird. Or
right. I'm sure there's some cards too that could correlate to that. But yeah, it is. They did a good job for a reversal of the theme that when you first hear about it is like, what? Because it's so the opposite of Pandemic.
Also, yeah, I mean, look at the size of this box. It's not that big.
Right. It is just cards. It's a light,
and the petri dish. So.
simple game, not too expensive. So if you're looking to check it out, check it out. If you like what you heard, any other thoughts or comments, you can leave a comment on the YouTube video or on our site, or email us rollforcrit@gmail.com.
And of course, as if you've been watching, we have our Twitter account @rollforcrit, which has and always will be posting news from Gen Con.
Always, forever.
Forever.
If you miss it on Twitter, we will probably do a wrap-up on our site, where you can also see other mini episodes and buy lots of games. That's rollforcrit.com. That's Pandemic Contagion, and this is Roll for Crit Gen Con mini episode.
Stay tuned.